The Dating Contract by Miwakarai on Archive of Our Own. Chapter 10. Ladybug and Cat Noir. I can't believe you broke up with Cat Noir for Adrian, Alia exclaimed for the millionth time as the four of them walked down to the park together. Hey, I'm right here, Adrian laughed, his hand holding tightly onto Marionette's. Dude, how'd you make it out alive? Nino was holding Alia's hand, turned to ask Adrian. Told you I could take him. Adrian flexed his arm and laughed at Nino, who shook his head in disbelief. And on top of that, Marionette, you managed to still be friends with Cat Noir. All I'm gonna do now is convince Cat Noir to take Ladybug, and boom, triple date. Alia and Nino fist bumped at the idea. Although, don't let Cat Noir see that you're being all cringy with Marionette, Adrian. He might feel the urge to use his cataclysm. Nino laughed as he mimicked Cat Noir's iconic pose. Marionette laughed along with them. After months of lying and secrets, it was nice to feel like she was being honest about something. Hey, we're actually going to go study at Marionette's. You two go on to the park, Adrian laughed, as they reached the corner and pushed Marionette into her parents' bakery, leaving Alia and Nino waving alone, outside. Good afternoon, Mr. Dupin. Miss Dupancheng, he greeted as they walked past the counter. Hi, honey, Sabine waved at Marionette, who was trying to sneak by. Study hard, kids, and leave the door open, Tom yelled as he handed Adrian a plate of croissants and pushed him to follow Marionette. Dad, Marionette groaned, embarrassed that he'd shout that in front of the whole bakery. Climb, climb, Adrian urged her, anxious to escape the laughter from the customers. As they entered her room, Marionette closed the door behind them. They threw their bags on the floor and sighed in relief as soon as it was just the two of them. Nice after-school snacks, Flag zoomed out of Adrian's shirt and dove headfirst into the fluffiest croissant he saw. Calm down, they're still hot. Tiki flew out from Marionette's bag to pull Flag out of the steaming croissant. Marionette and Adrian laughed at the sight of both their kwamis arguing with each other. As silly as they can be, both of them sure thought of this brilliant plan, huh? Marionette turned to Adrian. Yeah, getting you to break up with Cat Noir to date me, and hiding our relationship as Cat Noir and Ladybug so Hawkmoth doesn't try to use either of us to hurt each other? It was easier when they explained it. Marionette laughed and nodded her head towards Plag and Tiki, who were still arguing in between bites. Hey, Adrian focused his attention to Marionette, taking her hands into both of his and smiling at her eyes. She turned away to hide her growing blush. Why are you shy? You're my girlfriend. Get used to it. He laughed and placed a kiss on the tip of her nose, loving the way that her skin easily turned red. Oh, please. If anyone's shy here, it's you. You're still scared to tell my dad, Marionette laughed, pushing him away as Adrian wrapped his arms around her. Nuh-uh, bugaboo. Even your ears are turning red, he teased, then gasped. Is it possible that maybe... Don't say it, Marionette laughed as he began to tickle her. Oh, you're just so in love with me. Just admit it, he laughed as they both fell to the floor. They stopped squirming as they realized the position they had fallen in. Marionette held her back, pressed against the floor. Her arms were pinned back by Adrian, who hovered above her, his hair hanging over her forehead, and their legs tangled in each other. Adrian smirked and tilted his head slightly to the side as he leaned down slowly, leaving his lips only a few centimeters away from Marionette's. Say you love me, he breathed. His eyes scanned her big blue eyes, trying to figure out if she would give in under the gaze of his piercing green eyes. I hate you, Marionette laughed, punching his shoulder playfully. I love you too, Marionette. Adrian looked down at her and smiled before allowing his lips to press onto hers. He could feel her smiling through the kiss. Ruining the moment, they both looked up in shocked as they felt a huge thump go through the building. The thump continued, almost like heavy steps walking through the city of Paris. They both got up quickly and ran to the window, just in time to see a ginormous pigeon cooing its way through the city. Racy there? Adrian turned to Marionette and grinned. She smiled back at him and nodded in return. They both took a step back and called out to their kwamis, who groaned in protest as the plate of croissants. Plag, claws out. Tiki, spots on. As soon as their transformation was over, they crawled out onto the roof and got ready to take off after the pigeon. Hey, Cat? Ladybug swung her yo-yo out and turned to look at Cat Noir. Yeah, Princess? Cat had his staff out, ready, but stopped to look at her. I love you. She quickly kissed his lips before jumping off to the nearest rooftop. Hey, that's cheating, he laughed, ignoring how hot his face suddenly felt, and threw his staff out in her direction, chasing after her. The sound of their laughter echoed throughout Paris as the two lovers raced to finish saving the city so that they could get back to cuddling underneath the moonlight.